Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the United Stand. Good morning. We are back once again. I hope everyone is having a brilliant morning. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of the day. Some big news coming out this morning and last night. Mason Mount and Caicedo are looking to be around a similar price, which actually could be, excuse the volume there, which actually could be possibly beneficial to Manchester United. You never quite know. A little bit on Højlund as well, being valued at around £40 million by Atalanta. Do we actually really want to go and spend that amount of money on a striker that could possibly not work out at Manchester United? I am not too sure. But welcoming everybody. A little bit also from TalkSport additionally saying that Erik ten Hag ideally wants to sign two strikers this summer. Well, ideally, Manchester United want to win every single trophy next summer. But, that's just the way it is. Hold on one sec. Let me just move this back because people are saying it's a little bit too close. Apologies. We are in the studio today, but unfortunately, people are moving around. Mark's got the show in Dublin today, I believe. Ryan's out. It's just me in the office today. So I do hope everyone is having a brilliant day, but we'll get straight into the first topic of discussion this morning. We will get straight into it as we like to do. And as I was saying, obviously, what seems to be going around at the moment every single day, and what Mark has made very clear is that he is 90% club on the old Mason Mount. That is what he's kind of put out there, and I'm not really not against it, but I'm not. I guess I'm not against it. And again, I'm slowly, or I did say yesterday, I was slowly coming round to the idea of Mason Mount to Manchester United. But now stories coming out this morning saying that, and I quote, this is from Fabrizio, that Chelsea are creating the biggest issue for Manchester United at the moment, and they won't accept less than 70 million for Mason Mount. Now, what Manchester United should realistically do in this situation is go, bugger off, I've had enough. 70 million is ridiculous. Especially for a player who has had a mediocre season, who has 1 year left on his deal. And, what's the point when there are other options out there? That is just the way it is. For me, I think that Mason Mount is a good player, but he isn't a 70 million pound player. And what Manchester United should not be doing is entertaining Chelsea in any way, shape, or form and paying 70 million for Mason Mount. And I'm seeing a lot of comments coming in. One I actually will get onto. I've lost it now. But basically, the report is that Brighton want upwards of 80 million for Caicedo. Now, if my math is mathing, I mean, Fiend says there's 70 million for a finished player. I wouldn't say Mason Mount's a finished player, but 70 million for someone that has had a mediocre season and has 1 year left on his deal is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But I wouldn't put it past them to pay it. But yeah, Caicedo for 80 million is 10 million more than what Chelsea are asking for Mason Mount. And I know which one I would prefer. Let's just say that. Caicedo, 21 years of age, absolutely ridiculous, more versatile, had a much better season than Mason Mount, probably got a much higher ceiling. But look, let's be honest, Erik ten Hag is very stubborn when it comes to transfers and trying to kind of get in his own way, isn't it? So I do think that once he kind of sets his mind on something and on certain players, we saw it with Anthony. It obviously wasn't Erik ten Hag's fault at all. The fact that we ended up paying the amount of money, that is down to just Manchester United as a club, in all honesty. Steve says Mount is bang average. Caicedo is a rising star. I mean, look, in all honesty, Caicedo is more than a rising star. Could possibly be a generational kind of talent with that just the way he plays football. He's an unbelievable midfielder. And when I literally say unbelievable midfielder, this guy is unreal. Good morning, everyone. Welcome in. We're just kind of touching on Mason Mount saga. That I wonder if this is so. Manchester United are embroiled in a saga every single season around one player. Last season, we obviously saw it as Frankie de Jong. Obviously, before that, you go back to like Sancho and etc. etc. Is Mason Mount going to be the saga of this window? I really do hope not. I really, really hope that Mason Mount isn't the chosen saga player. I feel like we can do better than that. Obviously, there is a little discussion topic here of who would be the better option, Mason Mount or Moises Caicedo. I think that is obviously a redundant question, in all honesty, because you take all the fees, etc., blah, 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 out of the question. Caicedo is the better option, 100%. Savage, welcome to the members club, my friend. But ultimately, it does come down to how much these guys are going to, the clubs want for them, etc. And ultimately, Manchester United are a weird club when it comes to transfers. I think, Nick James says here, if we're overspending, might as well do Rice 100 million. Look, this is the thing. And if Chelsea really do want 70 million for Mount, it does just come at a point of why not just pay an extra 10, 15, 20, 30 million and get a better player, better informed player, etc. But at the end of the day, Ten Hag will want what he wants. He will want to go out and get the players that he wants, and maybe he thinks Mason Mount is going to be that kind of next level midfielder that takes the team in terms of squad depth as well. People in the comments talking about Lavia as well. I mean, look, we can all sit here. There's endless talent out there. There's a plethora of options in multiple positions: strikers, goalkeepers, defenders, midfielders. There are a handful of options. Yes, people are going to have different preferences when it comes to what type of players they're going to want to sign. Because look, a lot of me included, a lot of guys in the chat are going to play FIFA, are going to play Football Manager, are going to know about these young up and coming talents. And in real life, it doesn't really work like that, does it? Almac says Mason Mount trash. I think that Mason Mount to Manchester United probably will happen. And I don't think that the 70 mil fee will be the fee that Manchester United would pay for him. I just don't see that happening. I mean, Man United are stupid when it comes to paying money for certain players, but I just don't see it. I feel like, what a transfer saga is, or when transfers happen, it very much is you have the seller who drives a hard bargain, who sets a high price. Then you have the buyer who starts off a lot lower than that, and then they kind of find themselves meeting in the middle somewhere. So hopefully Manchester United can find a deal that obviously suits them in terms of a financial package. Maybe you meet somewhere. I think Man United valued him around 50 to 55 million. I mean, for me, that's even a little bit too steep. But if we are valuing him at that, then I mean, you can, I wouldn't like to, if we do value him at 55 million, genuinely, I wouldn't go over 60. I just can't be, you just can't be paying anything more than, and a lot of you guys in the chat, and I want to get this involved, get your comments in. How much would you be willing to pay for Mason Mount? Because I think the big thing for me is, and what's scary, is that Mason Mount has had a very poor season, and they're still. I understand that Chelsea are in a difficult situation with financial fair play and wanting to offload players. You're seeing kind of Havertz being linked away, Kovacic being linked away, and obviously Mason Mount as well. It's a strange situation that they find themselves in, and they're going to want to maximize how much money they can get if they do sell Mason Mount. I said this on yesterday's show, that it will be pure profit. I mean, who knows? Where's that super chat that I've just missed? What do you think the actual starting budget is? Honestly, Nick, I haven't a Scooby, not a clue, and I don't think that anyone's going to know. We can all sit here and guess. 150 million, 100 million. You can then add player sales onto that. Who's going to go out the door? I see loads of things on Twitter of possibly. We sell this player for X amount, blah, 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 and equating up to 100 to 150 million in player sales. Ultimately, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that Manchester United, you're looking at maybe a 100 million pound net spend, But again, I don't know. I really don't know. A lot of people getting the comments in 50 million and add-ons. I would take Caicedo and or Manu Kone are better than Mount. I mean, again, we're talking about options here, guys, and there are so many options. But Melvin actually says United should pay it. Interesting. If there are, and there will be, a lot of people in the chat who are interested in signing Mount for 70 million, how many people just type in yes if you would do that and not trolling? Why are you comparing where was that chat? Why are you comparing Mount to defensive mids? He'll be used as utility attacking midfielder. Yes, correct. Chris, you are I mean, ultimately I'm just comparing a midfielder to a midfielder in all honesty. And I just think that we'd be better off spending, if we're going to spend that amount of money, is what I'm trying to say, you're better off spending it on Caicedo rather than Mount. It's just what I think. But if we go, I do think that we will go and get Mason Mount. I really do. I Run the Street says, I think we should go for Caicedo, bin Mason Mount. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people, well, Alu says yes in the chat. Too expensive for 1 year left. We need an 8, not a 6 like Caicedo. I'd argue we need probably both. We probably need an 8/10, and then like a a Caicedo type player as well who can help out Casemiro, because we can't be putting all our eggs in one basket with trusting, well, not even necessarily trusting, that's the wrong word, but kind of hoping that Casemiro is available every single game. He's had his suspensions and I'm sure he will get injuries, etc. as well. Patrick says, I think we should let go of Mount. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. I'll take Barella, Frankie de Jong, and Caicedo, says Kisele. I mean, that is a ridiculous midfield there. Barella, de Jong, and Caicedo. Imagine. We haven't actually heard anything about de Jong, have we? For a while. I'm wondering if that ship has completely sailed. But for me, Mason Mount, 70 million is a no-go. I think a lot of people are of the same opinion also, that 70 million for Mason Mount when he's had a shocking season. Whether it's his fault or not, he hasn't been playing. Actually, I want to look quickly. I'm just going to have a quick look at what Mason Mount's statistics were for this season, because I don't like every time. And look, I don't watch a lot of Chelsea. I don't really watch a lot of football other than Manchester United, in all honesty. So he played 24 games in the Premier League this season, scoring 3 goals, getting 2 assists. He made 9 appearances in the Champions League, getting 4 assists, 1 game in the FA Cup, and 1 game in the Carabao Cup. So, I mean, for a player of his quality, really, someone that has been very, very good in the past and can be probably better, a higher ceiling than what he is showing, he's not playing enough, is he? Maybe Eric Ten Hag. And look, this is the one saving grace that I will say is it's not just Manchester United that are interested, right? You've got Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp, and Mikel Arteta of Arsenal interested in signing Mason Mount. So it isn't just Man United being mental. It's quite clear that a lot of teams do see Mason Mount as an option to buy this summer. Do you think we will sign Kim Min-jae and Timber, meaning our centre backs, meaning our centre backs are them and Lindelof and Varane, and then maybe Ten Hag moves Martinez to CDM? No, I mean, I'm guessing you mean sign Kim Min-jae and then that'll be the centre backs of him and Lindelof. I mean, no, Martinez won't be being moved to centre defensive mid. That's very much, I appreciate the super chat, but that's very much a FIFA thing. People see players have alternate positions, and all of a sudden they're gonna be playing centre defensive mid. Lisandro Martinez has been the best centre back for Manchester United for 99% of the season up until he got injured. So he I don't see why you'd want to move positions. I know he did play there, guys. A lot of people saying he did play there for Ajax. I'm not saying he didn't play there. I'm saying that it is pointless moving him there for Manchester United when he has been our best centre back this season. It makes no sense. It really doesn't. Um, what's the point? What is the point? A lot of people saying João Paulinho could be a good 6, or Cockchu as well. I mean, João Paulinho is an interesting one. I think he'll probably stay at Fulham next year. I mean, maybe Liverpool were interested in him as well, weren't they? Zico Memphis says, come on, that's not a 70 mil player, those stats. Let's go for cheaper but top young promising stars like Lafie or Cockchu. This is the only thing, guys, is that, and what we have seen in the past is Manchester United have bought obvious, if that makes sense, and rightly so. You look at Di Maria, for instance, when we were linked with him, he just come off of the back of a man of the match performance in a Champions League final. We bought him. He didn't work out. Radamel Falcao, unbelievable striker. We get him. It doesn't work out. Lukaku, the best probably Premier League striker that wasn't at a top 6 club then. We buy him. Ultimately, didn't really work out. You know, we've seen time and time again Manchester United go for these top players and it just doesn't work out. So that, like that chat says, the Enzo Lafis, the Orkan Kokchus, you know, all these different types of players, the Stefanovic, no, what's his name? Smardzvic, I can't remember who he plays for, but, you know, Gabri Vega, all these types of different young players that are at the lesser known European teams. Can you go out there and experiment and go and get them, whether they're 20, 30 million? If they don't work out, you know, your expenditure is less, and you're also, you know, you probably have that sell-on factor as well. Ray says, I think Mason Mount is a bargain for under 70 million. Okay, Ray. I want to hear your point of view as to why you think it's a bargain for under 70 million, because I am very intrigued. So it doesn't have to be a super chat. Just put in another chat. I'll try and pick it out. But yeah, I mean, to kind of round off this Mason Mount point, I think ultimately Mount will be a Manchester United player. I think it's an inevitable factor. Obviously, don't take my word as you know, gospel, but I do think that Mount will be a Manchester United player, whether it's the 70 million, whether it's the 50, 60, 55, whatever it is. I feel like he will be Manchester United's first signing, and it is seeming to go that way. I very much thought that it wasn't going to be anything to go off. I didn't think it was. I thought it was a nothing story, in all honesty. An agent using Manchester United again, but it does seem to be a hot topic at the minute. AD says Mount is trolling us like Frankie. No, I don't think. I think it's a different situation. Red says Ray had a few too many. I hope not. It's only 20 past 10. But obviously, we did touch on this a little bit at the top of the show, that it's coming from the Mail Sports saying Brighton want at least 80 million for Moises Caicedo. Obviously, he's been linked with Manchester United. Would you guys rather go and spend, I mean, let's say they want upwards of 80. So let's say like 90. Would you spend an extra 20 million and go and get Caicedo? Nick James says, in Rice, Kim and Jay, Bart. Who's Bart? Hoyland, Rabiot for 210 million, and out McFred, Maguire, Henderson, Elanga by Tellez, 900. Yeah, I mean, look, this is what I mean. You see on social media all the time of these people or accounts, let's say, that just think that we can get, you know, a ridiculous amount of money for all these different players. And I'm not saying that's a ridiculous amount of money, but you know, I think a lot of outgoings need to happen at Manchester United this coming season. Bart is the Anderlecht goalkeeper, right? Okay, so you used his first name. And Adam Armstrong says Bart Simpson. If you would have said the old, I don't even know how you pronounce his last name, Verbruggen. Just Bart. Automatically, I went to The Simpsons. I genuinely did. Malp says we need a huge clear out. 100% we do. Manchester United need to sell some dead wood. We've got players at the club. At the club. Not at the club, sorry. Who are on loan. Obviously, your Bailly, your Tellez, your Henderson. They need to go. If we can get rid of Henderson for the reported 30 million, there's apparently a nearly or an agreement in place somewhere for Henderson to join Forest. Brilliant. See you later. Get rid of him. Then you've got your Tellez and Bailly. You're gonna be getting obviously like 1 to 5 million each, probably for them. So pocket change in the grand scheme of things. And then you've got your Brandon Williams. If you want to get rid of McTominay and Fred, I mean, there is a lot of dead wood that Manchester United need to get rid of, in all honesty, a lot. Tim Collins says first business will be out, IMO. I mean, yeah, you know, we Manchester United need to be smart with their business. And this is why the ownership situation and this takeover situation is really hindering the progress that Ten Hag and Manchester United can make in this window, because realistically, he doesn't know who is going to be the new owner of Manchester United. Therefore, you don't know how to, you know, what the budget's going to be, what type of signings you can make. There's so much uncertainty around Manchester United at this current minute. And if you can't bring players in, realistically, you can't get players out the door. The players who are already that are in the squad, sorry. So the players that are already out of Manchester United, as I said, your Telles, your Bailly, your Henderson, these guys, I'm sure, will be sold regardless. But the players currently in Manchester United's first team, your Maguires, your McTominays, your Freds, who you want to be selling in order to then bring in better options off the bench or starting options, etc. You can't get rid of those players until you know that you can bring players in, because otherwise you're going to have a squad of, worse than when we started. So it's a difficult situation that Ten Hag finds himself in. And there are, I'm sure that he would have sat down, and there are going to be options that Ten Hag has written down, who he wants to bring in, who he wants to get rid of, and he doesn't know whether he can do that or not. Super chat here. Mount wasn't that bad this season. His in-depth stats stack up until Feb injury. If you want to judge players on 2023, then no Chelsea player is worth more than 20 million. I mean, to be fair, when I read his stats out, I didn't actually judge off of his stats. I just said, I mean, look, no Chelsea player is had a good season. I don't think any of them can kind of get away with saying they've had a good season. In all honesty, I think they've all been pretty shit. In all honesty, pretty crap. So it'll be interesting. Charles says Caicedo. Enough said. I mean, look, Caicedo is an unbelievable player, and I actually put out a TikTok on the United Stand TikTok. So do head across and give that page a follow if you aren't already. And it was my Manchester United dream team for next season, and it included Caicedo in it. I won't give the other signings away, but it did include Caicedo in that. I just think he's unbelievable. Every time I watched him against Manchester United, he's been ridiculous. Unbelievable football player, and I genuinely think that he can, there's arguments that we should have signed him for whatever it was, 5 million when we had the opportunity. Would he be the player that he is now? If he joined us then, he probably wouldn't have been playing. But I don't know. It's very difficult because, in hindsight, yes, we should have signed him, but as I say, he actually had a loan spell, didn't he? I can't remember where he went, but Brighton let him go on loan for a bit. And he's only played, realistically, a handful of Premier League games. So would he have been given that opportunity at Manchester United? I am not too sure. Very difficult one to kind of go off, really. I've seen a lot of people in the chat actually talking about Jacob Ramsey from Aston Villa. Personally, I don't see it. He'll be at Villa for a while, I imagine. Because again, he is only a young player. Sally says typically United pay 70, 80 for Mount and pass on Caicedo. I think the consensus here is that a lot of you guys will be happy would prefer to go and get Caicedo over Mason Mount. I think that is the consensus that I'm getting here. I do think that Mason Mount will be a Manchester United player. We spoke about him on yesterday's show. I'm sure that there'll be something going on tomorrow as well, and later on. There's shows and videos coming out of our neck. Please do hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed already, folks, because we're literally pumping out 4 videos a day during this transfer window, and we're not even at the proper meat of it. What I do want to get is I want to see your guys' suggestions in terms of, because there's a few people here saying Kamada, etc. Well, you're not Goldbridge. Correct. I'm not Goldbridge. You don't have to watch if you don't want to, buddy. I want to hear your guys' suggestions as to who you would sign for Manchester United, and they're not stereotypically big names. So not your Diogo Costas, not your Harry Kanes. I want to hear niche names, your Cockchews, your Gabri Vegas, etc. Get your comments in. I want to know who you guys would go out and get. Be interested. Mount won't be that decisive at our club. It's going to be Rabiot and Mount, says Musels. I mean, yeah, you forget about Rabiot, don't you, on a free? I've seen a lot of people in the comments as well saying Thuram. I wouldn't be against Thuram, in all honesty. I think he could be a good option. Where's his super chat? Caicedo, Rice, and Camavinga are the future of defensive midfielders. It would be sad if we miss out on one of them this summer transfer. I mean, look, Camavinga's never happening in a month of Sundays. Never, ever, ever, ever. As much as I love him, absolutely love him, Camavinga is unbelievable, like so good. But I just don't see it. Just don't see it. Rice, again, unbelievable player, would be brilliant. Caicedo, imagine that midfield of Caicedo, Rice, and Camavinga. Because I think you could. I think Camavinga's done a job in 10 before. You'd have to change your formation up a little bit, but yeah, I mean, it would be very, very good. Manu Kone, Cockchew, Mainan, Barella, Santiago Jimenez, Hoyland. I think just get, I don't even know how you say his name, Shabolsley from Leipzig. Not a clue. I know who he is, but I don't know how you pronounce it. Enzo Lafay, Rabiot and Mount will flourish under Eric Ten Hag, says Kenny. I'm interested to see kind of what happens with the whole summer transfer window. I'm excited to dig my teeth into it. I really, really am. Frimpong, Goncalo Ramos. Mason Mount is not worth more than 50 million. Lavia, Cockchew, Ferguson, Kim Min Jae. Kama will never be sold by Real Madrid. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. Charlie is awesome. Reminds me of Mark. Enjoy his shows as well. Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate that. Brighten up my day. Thank you. We were the first club to show interest in McAllister. How did we slip that to Liverpool FFS? Apparently his release course was under 40. Yeah, so I saw reports of McAllister reportedly not wanting to join. You just preferred Liverpool over Manchester United, and Ten Hag, chose to look elsewhere. I don't think it was a matter of kind of letting him, slipping it, but I think that it was just a choice that he made, and we kind of backed down of it. But we can move on. We can move on to the next topic of discussion, because I've seen all your guys. Suggestions in terms of signings. The consensus definitely is that people would prefer Caicedo over Mount. But a lot of people have been asking about striker news. Obviously, Manchester United need a striker 100%. Like, undoubtedly need a striker, 2 strikers, 3 strikers, get me them all. I think that Hoyland could be the one that is the chosen one, ultimately, in terms of, I think Harry Kane's the chosen one for Ten Hag, but obviously that's proving a little bit difficult. But TalkSport are reporting that Man United are expected to ramp up their interest in Rasmus Hoyland, who is valued by Atalanta at 40 million. What do we think? Do we think, I mean, I said this and it got clipped up and put on Twitter as well. Obviously, it had a mixed reception like they usually do. But can Hoyland be the number 9 at Manchester United? Does there need to be another striker brought in? I said this yesterday. Yes, of course there does. Of course there does. That makes sense. There needs to be another striker brought in. If there isn't, then we're in a spot of bother. We're in a big spot of bother. Regardless, you could bring in Kane. There needs to be another one. You could bring in Osimhen. There needs to be another one. Hoyland, you bring him in for 40 mil. Go and get another striker. Go and get a Santiago Jimenez. Go and get a Goncalo Ramos. Whoever it's going to be. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. whoever it's going to be, you need two strikers. You know, we didn't replace Cavani when he left. If Martial is going to leave, we need, you know, Weghorst is gone as well. We literally don't have a striker. You can argue Rashford, but Rashford isn't a striker. We need, you know, or go and get Thuram on a free, says Justin. There you go. Thuram on a free. Højlund. You've got two strikers for 40 million. Will says stop negotiating, start bidding. I mean, negotiations, if you're negotiating, you arguably, it's the same as bidding, really, isn't it? Because you're negotiating over what the bid is going to be. So Savage says we desperately need two forwards. We didn't have a striker when we had Wout. Yeah, just a body. Two strikers are a priority, and that actually is the same. This leads me on to kind of the next point, is that Erik ten Hag ideally wants to sign two strikers this summer. As I said at the top of the show, Manchester United ideally want to win every single trophy next season, but it probably won't happen, and that probably won't be because, you know, Erik ten Hag's fault, or you know, realistically, it all comes down to this ownership situation. It really does, and I hate talking about it. I really do. I'm in the nicest way possible. I'm bored about the whole situation. Just kind of the Glazers constantly, almost just going back to square one and sucking the life out of everything. I bet you they're fun at a birthday party, aren't they? Bloody hell. Everyone gets told to bring, you know, a tray of food, and they come with a tray of crap. Good analogy. But no, I think the fact that the Glazers are still there, and the whoever actually is, say today is the day, say Friday's the day when it gets announced whoever's taken over the club. That's not it. You still have a process or a protocol to follow that will take a while in terms of getting things moving. You know, certain people then, you know, if it is Qatar, if it is Sajim, they'll have people they want to integrate, and you know, it's going to take a while. Spencer says buy Osimhen and loan João Felix or some other striker. I mean, I think Osimhen. I don't see Manchester United getting Kane or Osimhen. I just think that Osimhen are wanting too much, and Daniel Levy's being an arse, being an absolute arse about it. I think we're better off looking elsewhere. As much as I'd love Harry Kane, I do think that we'd be better off looking elsewhere. GNG says Arnautovic, here we go. Do you know how mad that is? You remember the time when we would get literally January, we were getting Arnautovic and Rabiot, or was that last summer? I can't even remember. It all amalgamates into one. Literally, we were getting Rabiot and Arnautovic. How crazy is that? That is absolutely baffling. Absolutely baffling. But getting two strikers, as we were saying, is huge. Huge. If Højlund is going to be one of them, I mean, if they're asking, it was 40 million, wasn't it, that they were valued him at? I mean, usually you can, maybe there's a world in which you can get him for 30 with add-ons up to 40. I mean, look, Atalanta aren't a huge club in Europe. So do they have, you know, and when a big club ultimately comes knocking to these clubs, the majority of the time the player does want to leave and you know, kind of take that next step. Is Højlund ready for that, to be that lone striker? I don't know. I really don't know. I wish I had the utmost confidence. I'm sure he's a brilliant player, but that is why you probably go out. Another reason why you go out and get another striker, and maybe a possible more proven one, a Marcus Thuram, someone like that Manchester United can bank on a little bit more to go and win them games. Maybe there's a world in which we play two up front. We go back to old school football, 4-4-2. I mean, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what does unfold. I think that whatever happens, I just hope that the signings are sensible in a way of whoever it is. We just need to not get taken like mugs. We really need to not get taken like mugs. We need, when a price gets quoted to us, this 70 million for Mount, it can't be, all right, then we'll just pay, well, we'll give you 80 just to make it easier, smooth transaction. No, if the fee is too high and they're not willing to negotiate, see you later. It needs to be dead and buried. There you go. Like we can't keep dilly dallying and losing out on other targets. James Jones says, why not Tony or Mitrovic? I mean, Ivan Toney's banned from football until when is it? Is it January next year in England? So he's not going to move anywhere because it makes no sense. And Mitrovic is a good striker. You know, he's not too bad, but he's a bit of a hothead. I think touted as a little bit of a hothead, and I don't know. Again, I just think that Fulham would price Mitrovic out of a move. In all honesty, they actually declined a bid. Was it 60 million or something for Mitrovic, or 50 million? One of you guys might remember. Not from us, but from someone else. Jay says people forget how good Mount is. I mean, look, football is very much recency bias, isn't it, guys? We've got to remember football is very much recency bias. Look, Rashford's had when he was going through his unbelievable spell, everyone was saying he was the best player in the world, right? And now he's not doing so good, and he's back to Rashford's. You know, everyone's saying Rashford's crap again, which is obviously not the case. But you know, Mount's coming off the back of a very bang average season, and ultimately now people are judging him off of that, which is you're more than kind of fair to do, because football moves very fast these days, moves very fast. Vaz says Rashford back to his old days. I really hope not. I really do hope that he isn't. Really do hope that he isn't. I'm surprised not many people are trying to sign Musiala this transfer window. I mean, no, you're talking 150 million for Musiala. That geezer is unbelievable. Sabitzer for 20, Mount for 70. I'd stay clear of Sabitzer 100%. I would 100% stay clear of Sabitzer. I just think that it's not worth it. Too injury prone. No point. Offer Zaha a short-term contract. You guys can pull some names out the hat. You guys do pull some absolute rogue names out of the hat, in all honesty. I think that if Manchester United manage... I'll put this one to you. How many signings... Get your comments in. How many signings should Manchester United... Actually, no, not should. How many signings do you predict Manchester United will make this summer? Get your comments in. I want to know. I'm going to say 3. I'm going to say 3 signings that Manchester United will make this summer. And I'm going to say that we will sell, and this doesn't include Phil Jones and Twanzebe, we will sell more than we will buy. So we will sell 4 or 5. That's what I'm saying. Blimey, the comments come flooding straight in. 4, 5, 4. Yeah, 7, 4, 5 with the backup keeper. 23, interesting. Whole new squad. 4 in, 6 out. 5, 6 at least. Sell 6, sell 8, 4. Yeah, I mean we're all roughly around the same kind of margin, aren't we? Around the 4 or 5 mark in terms of signings. I think that a lot needs to happen. A lot needs to get moving. I mean, we've seen straight after the FA Cup final, the transfer news has absolutely skyrocketed. Obviously, the season is now fully complete, fully finished, apart from the shitty Champions League final, which we don't want to talk about. But no, I think, look, Manchester United need to get the ball rolling. In all honesty, need to get the ball rolling. That if we don't start making signings, getting them in as early as possible, then things are going to get the procedure or strategy is going to get hurt in the process. I think that, I mean, Boblin says signings will depend on the outs. Yeah, I do think so. Sorry, did I just see a Liverpool fan in the chat? You lot need to sell Bruno. What the hell? What the hell? No, absolutely not. Makoku from Dortmund. Robert says, get rid of all the deadwood now. Greedy Glazers out. City going to win the treble. We have to do it now. I'm not sure what you mean. Do you, Goldbridge and Beth, play football? No, we not together. We don't. No, we don't. Mount is worth 60 tops. I mean, look, we can slowly wind down the show because I've kind of touched on everything that really needs to be spoken about, in all honesty. But the thing I want to round off is Manchester United are in desperate need of buying players, selling players, and potentially, well, not potentially, and new ownership. 100%. And new ownership. If Manchester, the quicker that this new ownership situation, takeover process finishes, the better we will find ourselves, kind of whoever it is, with at least, even if it is, and I don't know who you guys want, but whoever actually ends up taking over Manchester United, the sooner it happens, the better, realistically, even if it's the person that you don't really want, because at least we then know the direction we're heading, how much money we're going to have, etc., etc. If we don't know, then how are we meant to prepare? William Turner says, I don't understand why Ten Hag wants Mount. We already have Bruno who gives the ball away. I would go after Rice and Caicedo and a striker and a centre-back. I mean, maybe are you suggesting that Mount gives the ball away? Is that what you're suggesting? But yeah, I mean, Rice and Caicedo do play in a different position to Mount. We had a super chat on that a little bit earlier, but I agree with you. We need a striker and a centre back, and I'm surprised that. I mean, I'm not surprised. Ultimately, I've seen reports coming out that Manchester United want a new left winger, which is weird in itself. Could all be absolute waffle, but we're here to report on the news on the morning show, aren't we? So that is what it is. Mount shoots off target as much as Bruno. I mean, if you guys are willing to give Bruno stick, Bruno's numbers are absolutely ridiculous. Over the last 6 seasons, I think, obviously including Lisbon and Manchester United, his goals and assists, his goal contributions are a joke. So yeah, it kind of doesn't really add up that everyone, he shoots off target, but he also shoots on target and scores. Yeah, I mean, look, if Manchester United get their act together ASAP, I think we'll be okay, and hopefully we'll be pushing for more trophies next season. I think that will be the best thing for the club, in all honesty. Interesting one. Hey, Charlie, we can get Mbappe, Kimmich, Iniesta, Thiago Silva, Neuer. Yep, we'll get Iniesta. 30, what is he, like 41 years old or whatever old he is. Legend of the game. But guys, we're gonna round the show off there. Really appreciate you joining this morning. Leave a like on the video. Along with that, obviously, as I said, please do subscribe to the channel. There's so much content coming out. We are obviously ramping it up during the transfer window. It's going to be a huge period. Hopefully, Manchester United get their act together with this ownership situation, with signings. The quicker we get stuff done, the better, and the quicker Ten Hag can implement the strategy, etc. he's wanting to show. But leave a like on your way out. Appreciate it. Lots of love. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll speak to you sometime soon.